BBC Radio Barsha with Cyndi Lauper there, and time after time. It's just coming up to 20 minutes before 12. Tony Blackburn here with you on BBC Radio Barsha. The DJ who propelled Rage Against the Machine to Christmas #1 has taken on his next challenge, sending this Rik Mayall World Cup song from 2010 to the top of the charts.
Teach them how to play, you good players whose limbs were made in England. Show us here the metal of your footwork. Let us swear that you are worth your breeding. I see you stand like greyhounds in the slips, straining upon the start. The game's afoot. Follow your spirit upon this charge. Cry God, a win for England and St. George!
Rik, who sadly died this week, failed to chart with Noble England, which quoted Shakespeare's Henry V. Now, Jon Morter is trying to help gain the comedian a posthumous #1, and he's with me right now. Hello, Jon.
Hello, Tony.
Hello there. Right, so, what's this all about? You've, and Rik sadly died earlier this week, and you've just taken it on yourself. Is this to sort of commemorate his memory, or what?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's I'm a big Rik fan, and obviously when we heard the sad news, so many people sort of emailed me straight away to say, hey, he had a World Cup song, and it's the World Cup. Why don't we see if we can do something with it? Now, coincidentally, I actually worked on the original release 4 years ago, so it's tied together quite nicely. So I thought, right, yeah, why not? Let's do this.
So Rage Against the Machine was more of a protest, whereas this campaign seems to be a sort of display of respect, really. There's a difference on this one, isn't there?
Absolutely, yeah. With Rage Against the Machine, we were all very angry. We wanted to say something. But this is very different.
That was against Simon Cowell, actually, wasn't it? And the X Factor not automatically getting to #1.
4 years in a row, and we were just a bit fed up with it, and we thought, well, hey, look, let's see if we can change that, and let's see if we can do something. It worked brilliantly, and but this time round, it's not really as a protest. It's a celebration, because it's a great song. It's the World Cup, and it's Rik Mayall. So it's just a perfect collision, really. And it would just be nice to send him off, with a hit.
It's sort of a cruel irony, really, that on the eve of the World Cup we lost him.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it was the eve of the World Cup 4 years ago that myself and my then wife Tracy, who incidentally took all the promotional photos for the single, we worked today with him, and so yes, it's a cruel irony that the eve of this World Cup he's no longer with us, sadly.
You are a sort of self-styled chart hijacker, aren't you, Jon? Would you describe yourself as that?
I've had my moments, Tony.
Yeah. So how do you actually do? I mean, you presumably, I know you're a DJ, but you also, are you a record plugger?
Not really, no. I mean, I now, because of the Rage Against the Machine campaign and following on from that, I ended up working pretty much in online PR for bands and for musicians and for brands. And it's good fun, It's just trying to stick things under people's noses and say, hey, look at this.
So how do you do it? I mean, you've got this record. I mean, with most record promotion people, they'll go around radio stations, they'll give the record, they'll meet producers or meet DJs and the rest of it. So you do this totally online, do you?
Yeah, absolutely. I believe in people power, and I think that, yes, obviously, having your record put in front of an influential DJ or a radio station producer is one thing, but to send it out to the masses and say, hey, look, what do you think, first of all, and to send it to as many as possible and make sure that they listen to it and look at it.
So how do you do that? Is it using Facebook, Twitter, or what?
Absolutely, yeah. Facebook and Twitter are the two main ones that I use. That's where all the people are, and it's just making people want to look at it. I think because it's a crowded market, and I think you have to think. I hate using this term, but you have to think outside the box. Yeah. In fact, don't think outside the box. Just smash it up and burn it, and that's what I've always tried to do, really. And touch wood, I've had a fair bit of success, which is great.
Well, at the moment, it's I believe I'm right in saying number 14 on the iTunes, because there's so many charts now. 14 on iTunes, it's #1 on Amazon, I believe, and number 38 in the official chart.
Yeah, well, it's actually jumped up on iTunes to number 3 today, Tony. So it's seriously moving some. Yes, number 1 on Amazon, and on the midweek chart, number 38. Which, considering that the other records have had 2 days extra on us, I think that's a great, brilliant start.
Well, which is the most important chart as far as you're concerned? I mean, would it be the official chart? Because that's the one that Radio 1 will play, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's the one that the record books look at. So when we look back in years to come, like yourself, and that was the number 1 at the time. Sure. So it's the main chart that I've always, been very fond of and a big fan of, and that's the one that really we want to get as high as we can with. Yeah.
How many songs do you have? I mean, it's not the physical record anymore so much as the downloading, isn't it, more than anything else? I mean, most people are buying stuff on download. How many do you have to download, say, to get to number 14 on iTunes? Is it an enormous amount?
It's not as much as you'd probably think. No. I mean, to get to number... I remember rightly, and I'm going by figures that could be very, very fudged here, but from what I remember, a couple of thousand sales could get you to number 40. To start with,
you're talking about in the official chart,
in the actual official chart now
for in 1 week,
in a week. Now that's it changes. Well, it changes week by week, and as does the single that sells the number 1 changes week by week. So it really is a case of is it the right week or not? Well, we'll see. Let's see what we can do.
It's amazing, though, isn't it? The record industry has really plummeted so much now because, I mean, if you go back to the 60s, you were saying thousands of record every day.
Yeah, well, in theory, it can still happen with downloads. Yeah. I mean, with Rage Against the Machine, don't forget, well, you may not know, but we actually broke the Guinness record for downloads in 7 days.
So how many did you get downloaded, though?
We did 502, so we did 500,000 in 7 days, basically.
Well,
I think the record's been broken now, but this was 2009, and it can be done. And I think Pharrell Williams is happy, done very similar numbers over a period of a few weeks this year. So
I doubt the new one will.
No comment.
No. So it's called Noble England. It's Rik Mayall, and you can download it from iTunes and Amazon. It's doing very well on there, of course, as well as...
you can indeed, and I believe it's on 7 Digital as well.
7 Digital? Gee, I haven't heard of that one. What's that one?
Well, there's plenty of download sites out there. Google Play is another one.
I haven't heard of that one. Yeah, that's a new one to me, that. But I always go to the iTunes charts or the official chart. That's what I basically go to.
Well, the iTunes, I mean, sales-wise, iTunes tends to be the big seller, really. Yeah. So if it's doing well on the iTunes chart, then you pretty much can be assured it will do well in the main chart.
Normally iTunes is ahead of the official chart as well. I always find it, anyway.
Yeah, well, with iTunes, obviously it's live. If they sell something, it instantly updates, whereas the official charts, they can't do that, obviously. They can only read a sweep every couple of days. So, you have to kind of take a view on that and have a little bit of guesswork.
Well done, John. And I'm hoping very much indeed when I'm not around, you'll work on some of my records. 28 of them I've got there for you, all right?
Have you really, Tony?
Yeah, 28 singles. So perhaps you could work on those for me.
Do you know, Tony, I met you when I was a young child, and you came and opened my town in a helicopter.
Kevin, opened your town?
Yeah, Southwood and Ferrers in Essex. You turned up in a helicopter, judged a competition, and you went off in a helicopter again.
How could I open up a town? How did I do that? I don't remember opening up I opened up supermarkets. I don't remember opening up a town.
It was a new town in Essex, and you came along and you judged some things, and I remember it very well.
Is it still there?
Yeah. I'm actually, I'm ringing from there as we speak.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I'm delighted that I opened up your town. Fantastic. That's a new one. I don't remember doing that. Isn't that amazing? I should remember opening up a town. Good Lord. I must visit it to see what it's like.
Yeah, come along. I'll buy you a drink.
Thank you very much, John. That's Jon Morter there. BBC Radio Berkshire.
The most glamorous event.